Hi, I'm Ann Marie Devi, and I'm here to talk to you today about a disorder called misophonia. I'm a yoga teacher, a mom, and an advocate for misophonia. The reason why I have such a passion for this disorder and advocating and spreading information about misophonia is my youngest son has this disorder. So what is misophonia? Misophonia is a neurological selective sound disorder that exhibits a fight, flight, or freeze response to a triggering sound. Typically, this is seen as a response of rage or anger or fear felt at an extreme level. So first off, before I list the types of triggers that misophonia people typically respond to, if you do have misophonia, you can mute right now as I go through this section. When I'm done discussing the triggers, I'll wave across the screen and you can unmute. So let's begin. Trigger sounds for misophonia are typically everyday soft sounds that people hear other people making. One of the common ones is any type of mouth sounds. So that can be chewing, smacking of the lips, any mouth noises. Breathing sounds are also very common. So just somebody breathing near them could trigger them. Mechanical sounds, such as people working on a computer, the keyboard, pens clicking, or other mechanical sounds that are not generated by a person, such as a clock ticking, could also be a trigger. Other triggers include consonant sounds. The most common consonant sounds for somebody with misophonia are from the letters K, P, and S. Any type of sound can be a trigger. It can even be from animals that you have in your home, such as dogs. It can be from a whole host of things, including a chip bag crinkling, anything like that. So triggers are different for each individual person with misophonia. Now, if you muted, you can unmute and come back and join me for the rest of the conversation. Misophonia can sometimes be diagnosed as something else since it is not well known. But a person with misophonia can also have a coexisting disorder. Some of these disorders that could be coexisting or a diagnosis with unrecognized misophonia include ODD, which is oppositional defiance disorder. They could have OCD, diagnosed obsessive compulsive disorder, sensory processing disorder, since definitely with senses and hearing and having a trigger with misophonia, they could be diagnosed with sensory processing disorder. Somebody could be diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. So there are a variety, and even including if you go see an audiologist and are diagnosed with hyperacusis, which is different, or tinnitus, which is different than misophonia. And not all audiologists are aware of misophonia, but these different hearing disorders are different than misophonia. So what happens when somebody with misophonia is triggered? It is believed, though not everything is known about this disorder, but it is believed that the triggering causes a precognitive response. The response happens within milliseconds to a person once they're triggered with the sound. So a person hears their triggering sound. Within milliseconds, there is a physical reflex reaction in the body, which can be internal or external, and the person with misophonia may not even feel it or recognize that they're experiencing a reflex. After that reflex, then an emotional response occurs from the autonomic nervous system being triggered into fight or flight. And again, as I explained, this is extreme fight or flight. It is not gentle. It is really like this triggering of life or death type of feeling. So it can really be experienced as extreme rage, extreme fear. So what does this really mean for a person with misophonia, or somebody that is a family member or a school teacher or some type of professional that's working with somebody with this disorder? It means that this person is in having a response that's precognitive, that is really outside of their control. And maybe at the point that you're meeting them, they haven't learned how to cope with their disorder. So they are experiencing many emotions, and these emotions can be such things as guilt, even embarrassment, depending on how their reactions occur. They can also experience shame. Obviously, anxiety really goes hand in hand with this disorder. And also sadness or depression can result when you're having to deal with something that is so difficult on your nervous system, your body, and you feel out of control of your own self. So who should learn more about misophonia? Basically, and for sure, anyone in any professional field that works with children should educate themselves about this disorder, just to be aware. And that's what I'm here trying to spread awareness. There are many professionals in many different fields that have never heard of this disorder. And misophonia parents and caregivers, we're the ones educating professionals about what our child is going through and what exactly this disorder is. So learning, educating, researching, anybody that works with children, anybody in the mental health field, neurologists, occupational therapists, audiologists that don't already know about misophonia. There are so many people, definitely school systems, especially people working with kids on 504 plans or IEPs. So many people need to be more aware of this disorder. So please, please feel free to share with anybody you may know. And who knows, maybe somebody on your friends list is a parent that has a child that has these symptoms and they're fighting this all alone and they don't have a name or an answer for it. So where can you find out more info? Well, first off, I'm a mom of a child with misophonia. I'm a yoga teacher. I can't diagnose and actually treat people with misophonia, whether adult or a child. I can teach yoga and what I'm experienced in. But what I have done is gathered information as a parent from my own research, and I've put it on my website. I have done and started a video series for people with misophonia, and we'll be adding more videos to this section of my website very soon. So you can find out more information about misophonia on my webpage, www.sensory.yoga. And also on my resources page, I link to different misophonia resources that have like a whole wealth of other information. So you can just explore there. As I first did when I figured out my son's disorder had a name. I read all these resources and learned as much as I possibly could. And if you're a professional, I recommend the same thing. Find out what you can, because these children and these adults don't know how to explain a disorder that people are not even aware of. Please feel free to share this video for Misophonia Awareness. And also, thank you for watching. And if you do suffer, or you know someone who suffers from misophonia, know that there are people out there that are researching and trying to figure out answers for this disorder. So there is hope. Thank you again, Ann Marie Devi.